Good morning. What's going on, everyone? Welcome. Welcome to Homebuilt Workshop. Welcome to Wednesday Live. I hope you and you and you, I hope you all are doing awesome and having a great day as we get settled in here to hang out here in the workshop. We're going to chat about what you're working on and what I'm working on and things that are going on and have all the fun that we always have. Alrighty, and Paul's here. Paul says hello all. Good morning, Paul. Paul, thank you. Thank you so much. That board is awesome. That thing is gonna look cool. I'm already thinking of where I'm gonna line up kind of that line between the two, the sapwood and stuff. I'm gonna try to put it right down the middle. I think that's gonna be really neat. Maybe my fret markers land right on there or something. I don't know. It's gonna be cool. Gonna be cool. Glad you like it, he says. Yes, thank you. And Dallas here. Dallas says, good Wednesday, Jeff. Good Wednesday, Dallo. How are you? How's that guitar build coming along? Paul says, is it thick enough for a bridge? I gotta measure the thickness that my bridge actually is. It might be. I don't know. But I did find, apparently, on the last acoustic build, apparently I made up a couple bridges at the same time. So I do have a couple bridge blanks. They're not completely done, but I have a couple of blanks that I found that are made from the same Bolivian rosewood. So I can use those. I found two that were partially shaped and one blank. I don't remember making extras, but I'm glad I did. So if it's not a problem, I have a few blanks that I can use, so everything will be at a match. I just won't have the sapwood, although the sapwood would be kind of cool if that lined up right with the bridge. I think the sap line running down and the bridge is half. I don't know. We'll see. I got to measure the thickness, but we're good if it's not. Harry Dude's here. Harry Dude says, what's up? How are we all? We're good, Harry Dude. And how are you? How's everyone in Australia? Paul says, sweet. Jimmer's here. Jimmer says, get out of here. Don't worry, he's only kidding. Jim's a buddy of mine, like probably one of my oldest friends from like 7th grade. So don't block him. He's just kidding. Jimmer, what's going on, man? Paul says, would making a bridge by gluing two pieces together work? It might. I don't know if that's common practice, but no reason we have to stick with common practice. I don't see why you couldn't. Really? Yeah. I don't know. That would bring in a lot of options for doing, I don't know, just different stuff. You could, I don't know. Yeah. It probably would. It'd probably be okay. Paul says you could get the sapwood that way, just layer them together. Oh yeah, like a on the top. Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, that's an option. Yeah, the glue would be. Paul says the glue should hold. Yeah, the glue would be plenty strong. I'll have to play around with it, kind of see if I come up with something different, or just save that for another piece of that for a different fretboard, and I don't know. We'll see what happens. I was pretty happy though when I discovered the halfway shaped bridges. I totally don't remember making those when I was working on the last acoustic, but apparently apparently I did. You guys ever find that you make a piece or something and set it aside quite a while ago and forgot you even made them? Mike's here. Mike says morning. Morning, Mike. The real Mike Johnson is in the house. What's going on? Cheers, everyone. Coffee. What are you guys working on? What's on your workbenches today? I have quite a few things on my workbench at the moment. The biggest one, let me show you. Voila! Working on the neck. It looks so giant before I trim all this excess off of there. Yeah, we got our neck in process. This is the plan to have the video working on this weekend, and yeah, trying to get as much done as I can. So I just got this inlay here, logo installed yesterday. I think next I'm going to drill the tuner holes, and that might be about as far as I get for the video here. We got our stacked heel, and yeah, we're almost ready for to start working on a fretboard. If I have time, I might cut the tenon down here. I don't know if I'm going to have time because I'm trying to edit as I go, and still be able to have it done for this weekend. We'll just see. We'll just see how far along we get. But yeah, I'm pretty happy. Feel like pretty good progress on this. Haven't had quite as much time to work on it this week. Well, this week and next week, our schools here are on fall break, so Haley and I have been working on some projects. So I'm working on this when I have a few minutes, and Haley and I are getting some things done. We're making a video of some of the projects that we're doing, so that'll be fun. Always enjoy being able to get to do some work. Hey, look at that. Get to do some work with her. It's always fun getting her behind the camera and getting to remember that bridge project we were working on for horseback riding. I think it was in the early spring. Finally getting back to that, and we'll have that done today. A couple other little things that we're just working on and trying to get done. Mike says, "Oh, stop." Paul says, "Nice." Paul says, "Are you putting carbon fiber rods?" Yes, I am. So we got the truss rod channel. These are not cut down to length yet, but those will go in there like so. I should have ordered some shorter ones so I didn't have to cut down these longer pieces, but oh well. I think these are like base length. I'll just end up trimming them down. A couple carbon fiber rods. I've really come to like using these in a neck. For me anyway, I can't speak for everybody, but for me, I found that when I have the carbon fiber rods in there, I just really don't have to adjust the neck very much. On my acoustic, the first acoustic, I haven't touched the truss rod since I radiused the fretboard. Leveled everything out, radiused the fretboard, put in the frets. So all that's done, fret level and everything. So the neck is dead flat. I never had to adjust it. When I strung it up, it got just a slight amount of relief in there, and I have yet to really have to go in and make any adjustments. And there even several electrics I just don't have to mess with, and I kind of like that. It seems very stable. So I will continue to put carbon fiber in. A lot of people, as they say on an acoustic, I've heard people say that you don't need them, but I just like this extra stability. So that has now become standard when I build the neck. It gets carbon fiber rods. Mike says, "It'll be a great video." It will. It'll be fun. It's always fun. Both the neck video I think is going to be cool, and the video that Haley and I are working on. I'm not sure which one you're referring to, but I think they're both going to be cool. Harry Dude says, "With the stacked heel, do you pin or dowel the layers?" No, I haven't. It's just glued. I suppose you could dowel them. There's going to be a heel cap, right in here. I suppose you could dowel down through that or something, but I'm not going to do any of that. I'm just going to let the glue do its job. Should be fine. It's fine. Paul says, should be nice and strong. Yep. Yeah, I believe so too. Plus, this is hard maple. So it's already not going to move, I don't think. Mike says, are the carbon rods glued or epoxied in? I've seen people do it both ways. Typically, when I have put them in, I don't put anything down in there. It's already a pretty snug fit. And really, the biggest thing that I try to do is when I'm cutting the little channels for it, I try to make sure that it's just level with the top of the neck. That way there's no extra play in there. And when I put glue on when I glue the fretboard on, of course I try to keep it out of the truss rod channel, but I don't really care if some gets down in, the channels for the rods. As far as I'm concerned, it kind of helps hold everything in. But yeah, I don't do anything as long as it fits tight. Now, if I end up with them, maybe they're a little too deep, and I'm worried about it rattling or something, I might put a little in there. But in general, I don't really mess with it. As long as I get a tight fit, then I don't worry too much about it. Jim says Leonardo da Vinci Bridge. Yeah, it's yeah. If you remember the bridge that we were working on, we ran out of material because I didn't measure ahead of time, and some of the boards really started to deteriorate. The old ones that we didn't change out, and the other day they were working with the bridge, and one of the boards actually broke while a horse was going over it. Thankfully, it didn't cause any issue. Nobody got hurt or bucked off or anything like that. But we decided that it was time to get that thing fixed up because it was totally unusable. So we got circular saw. You can't really see it. Circular saw and 2x10 offcuts, and we got a mess going on over here. Guitar neck gets set aside. As soon as we're done with this live today, we're going to go get those pieces screwed down and get that project wrapped up. Mike says, my next go will be making my own neck without a CNC. Need to relook at your older videos. Yeah, you don't need a CNC. CNC's cool, but I'm not doing a CNC. I'm not using it for this. Yeah, you can totally do it. I've decided, after many years of talking about it, once this acoustic project's done, we're going to get back to the subtonic and get that bass completed. Yes, that's going to be what's going to happen. And then I'm also thinking ahead. I'm already thinking ahead for next year. I imagine the guitar show will probably be up in Denver again next spring. So I'm thinking ahead for that. I want to have at least one, maybe two new builds to take up to that. So yeah, I'm trying to plan ahead. At first, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do the show, but I'm like, man, I still have like 5 months or 6 months or something like that. So I got to be able to get some stuff done. So we're gonna get that bass done. That one I will try to do on the CNC because that's what I want to get ultimately. All right. So Jimmer, what are you working on today? You got any cool projects in the shop? And Mike, you got the neck. You can do it. Piece of cake. Yeah, it's kind of crazy here. I can't believe that we're already on fall break for schools. It's just I can't fathom how fast this year is already going by. I was talking the other day. I don't even know who I was talking with. Talking with somebody, and it's like, you remember as a kid, and your parents, maybe grandparents, would always say, that time goes by so fast, or time flies. As a kid, you're like, what? What are you talking about? Like, no way. Like, I'm bored, and it's the dragging along. And then when you get older a little bit, you start to understand that. Yeah, it just flies. Mike says, doesn't feel that way. Ah, you can do it, man. You can do it. Do you have a template or a pattern of some sort that you're working off of? And do you know what kind of neck you're going to make? Are you going to make kind of a flat profile headstock, a la Fender style, or are you going to do scarf joint? Once you have that figured out, it's not you. I know you can do it. Yeah, if you know what style of neck you're making, let me know, and we'll briefly walk through the process. Mike says, did my own 4-string CBG neck without a truss rod, did a scarf joint. Next would be Fender style. Okay, so really, I mean, there's quite a few steps to it. A Fender style neck, I think, is much easier than a scarf joint, is in my opinion. You're going to start off with basically a 3/4 inch. If you're using a separate fretboard, 3/4 inch board really is all you need to start with. 3/4 inch board plus your 1/4 inch or so fretboard. That's going to give you about an inch thick. It's going to be perfect, and you can thin down the headstock. That's probably maybe the most challenging part, just to get that even. I don't know if you have like a spindle sander or something like that. That's what I use to thickness mine. I've made a little simple jig, just basically a back fence. So if your spindle is here, I got a back fence that I can push the headstock in there and sand that down to thickness. I think it's about 5/8 or so, depending on what tuners you're using. 5/8, 9/16 to 5/8, I think, is what I typically go for. Um, yeah, you can do it. I know you can. And if you run into issues, let me know. Get a hold of me. Shoot me an email or something like that, and we'll go through it. You got this. I know. And you said you did a cigar box neck. That's what I did first. I made a few cigar box necks, really as practice, without a truss rod, so I could get practice on all the different aspects. The truss rod really didn't add a whole lot of complexity to it. When I first made my necks, the truss rod is what kind of had me worried, but really it wasn't all that bad. And then now, I use this same style of truss rod on both acoustics and electrics as I drop it on the floor. It's easier on an acoustic because the adjusting nut, sticks out the end. But on an electric, this would be the end of the neck would be more up here if you're doing a heel adjust truss rod. I don't want to assume because I don't know exactly your methods yet. It's easier on an acoustic because you just saved it. It's easier on this type of neck anyway because you just run the slot off the end. Probably the trickier part is to be able to drill a hole in the end of the neck to where this lines up in the right spot. But to do that, I made a little drill guide. Where is that? I'll show you. Where is that little drill guide? Drill guide. Where are you? I actually don't know where it is at the moment. I'm trying to see if I spot it. Did I hang it on the wall? I don't have too many walls here to lose it on. It's got to be here somewhere. Oh yeah, here it is. So what this is like my super simple drill guide for drilling the hole in the end of a neck. Look at that. So it's just a couple pieces of wood glued together. I made sure they were perfectly 90 degrees. Got a couple sight holes in the top with a center line on there. So if we pretend for a second, you know, I can look down through on my center line on the neck, make sure that's lined up. Then in the end, I have a 9/32 for this particular rod. I drill a 9/32 hole right in the end, and that allows it to be lined up perfectly so that the truss rod fits in there. And this one I've actually redone a couple times. I've doweled it and re-drilled because the first time or two were a little off. But yeah, test on scrap. Robert's here. Robert says, a little late, but I'm here. Right on, Robert. Good morning to you. Mike says, will do. Thanks. Yeah. Dello says, last week I tried to make the neck heel. Got the angle. Oh, to get the angle, so I sanded it. When I finished sanding, I realized it was a forward angle. Oh, man. I have to readjust it. That was one of the trickier parts for me on the first build, was getting that neck angle right. And it took me quite some time. I imagine this one's going to take a while too, mainly because when it comes time to, you cut the tenon and it comes time to start flossing the joint to get it the right angle, it's all hard maple end grain. So, so that's going to be a hoop. Mike said CBG was mahogany, and he's using a heel adjust. Jim says, there's a lot of things that our elders said to us that I did not understand. I don't think you can until you reach the age they were. Yes, I completely agree. Yeah, because there's, just like you, a lot of things like that at the time you're like, whatever. I'm 15, 16, 17 years old. I know everything. And it's not till later that you realize that you don't. Jim says, my guides are plexiglass on top to be able to see marks I made. Yes. I believe when I made this one, I've had this one for several years. I don't think I had anything on hand at the moment, so I made do with what I had. But yes, I like plexiglass, Lexan, some sort of acrylic like that. It works great. Another thing that I have started doing when it makes sense is I'll take, I'll just take a regular utility knife, and if I need a straight line, I'll score a line in there using a straight edge of some sort, and that way it's set right into the plastic, and it only takes like a pass or two, and it gives a great reference mark, and you don't have to worry about it fading or somehow smudging off if you drew it on with a marker or something. But I found that works really well. The biggest thing is you gotta mark it in exactly the right spot. But yeah, you just score a line in there, and that's been pretty nice. Jimmer says, I can't believe the knowledge we lost since we were kids. I know, right? Now we have the opportunity, hopefully, to keep learning some of that. All right. Nice. Oh, Mike, do you, back to my question earlier, do you have a template that you're using, or are you kind of making it up, not making it up, but designing it yourself, or are you using like a pre-made template? Make sure that was off. Cool. Alrighty. I'm gonna throw it out to Harry Dude real quick. Harry Dude, what's on your workbench? What are you working on today? Did you get um, all of your projects done? Harry Dude says, I was thinking today that considering how much info is now online and the decline of books, if we lost the internet, civilization would fail. you know, that is something I hadn't thought about. Um, that would definitely mix things up quite a bit. yeah, I think there would be, not to go too in depth on it, but yeah, I think there would be quite a few people affected. There would be, on the other side, there would be several of us who probably would thrive uh, if that were to happen, and it would just be maybe a slight inconvenience, if that. But yeah, I think there would be more than there would be probably a majority that would, yeah, that would have problems. That's an interesting thought, and that's something I hadn't thought about. Huh. Something to ponder. Mike says, I would probably pull a teleneck and try to replicate it. Oh, okay. Um, if you wanted to get templates, oh, he says, I have body plans, which I've made templates from. Okay. Yeah, that'd be cool. You just replicate one that you have. It says use of Telecaster user group to find neck plans. Yeah, you can find them out there. Um, totally. That would work. Jim says, oh, working on Lamborghini and McLarens. That's awesome, man. I don't know how you get all those cool cars in there. I never really suspected that there was that many cars like that in the area. But that's cool. Dallas says, yes, I can't imagine living without internet. Well, I mean, yeah, it would definitely be a change. If all of a sudden it just blip gone, uh, it would be it would be it'd be weird at first, I think. But back in my day, it would just be a return to our roots, my roots, Jim's roots. Mike says, I have the body plans, which I've made templates from. I already read that. And Dastardly Dave's here. Dave says, sup all. What's up, Dave? How are you doing this fine Wednesday morning? Jim says, me either. Yeah, you don't typically see him around there. At least not that I recall. So Dallo, on your build, are you still working on your neck angle, uh, or have you gotten that sorted out? Where are you at on that? What's the next step for you? And Harry Dude says, just finished fixing a video camera power supply and a headset mic for a customer. Work isn't stopping. Another two guitars came in today and more pick guards to do. Man, that's awesome. That's great. Oh, I got a question now that I'm thinking about it. I've got a, I've got, well, I've got a couple of them, but I have an SM57, and I haven't investigated this at all yet. I just was messing with it the other day and realized I need to figure out what's going on. Everything seems to work okay. But you know the little black grill piece on the top, it doesn't tighten up. It just spins around and it kind of rattles a little bit. So I need to pull that apart and see what's going on. I don't know if some threads are stripped out or what the deal is, but have you ever messed with any of those on a 57? That little black deal that has the windscreen or the grill, the little grill at the top, just that little black plastic piece. It's all loose and it just spins and spins and spins and spins. I don't know why. Corey's here. Corey says the first internet was dial-up internet. Yeah. Yep, that was fun. Of course, you know, back then you didn't have streaming video and you know all of this stuff, so it didn't really matter. But I had that for quite a while, dial-up. Dello says, yes, I'm working with the heel. Yep, I'm just about there. I might get to again, it depends on how far I get in the editing, but I might get to cutting the tenon, mortise and tenon. Pay no attention that these didn't quite line up. One of them decided to move on me while I was gluing it up. It's not a big deal because all of this is going to get cut away and I'm just going to have a tenon right there, but it just looks kind of weird. It would be awesome, excuse me, it would be awesome if I can get between now and Friday or so, if I could get the mortise and tenon cut on the neck and then maybe wrap that up there. I'm going to shoot for that. Just depends on how much time I get to come out and work on that. Harry Dude says, and before the internet was bulletin boards. Yeah, I remember the bulletin boards being out, but I never messed with those. I think that, like, I didn't get my own computer, I think, until, I don't know, like 2002 or something like that, which was still quite a while ago. But I only had access to them, like, at work. But, yeah, I never messed too much with the bulletin boards, but I do remember them. Adela says, I felt that I need a table saw or belt sander. I don't have a gold hand. I understand. Yeah, you could do it with, I don't know what you're working with. I mean, you can get it. You can get it with a rasp or sandpaper or files or something like that. It just takes a little bit longer, but slow and careful, no need to rush it. Although it does get a little frustrating when you're trying to get something done, but you can do it. Robert says, I was watching a Sweet Tea guitar build this morning. He's working on a great guitar build-off guitar and got about 90% done and is starting over because of a couple issues that he did not like. Oh man, that's pretty... 90%, that's pretty close. Dastardly Dave says, I remember bulletin boards, Harry Dude. Harry Dude says, don't pull the top off a 57. They can move and are held on with an internal circlip. How do I stop it from rattling, though? Like, I've got two. One of them is, doesn't rattle and shake around, and it feels pretty secure. But this other one, I think it's had a little bit rougher life. But it rattles and shakes and feels like it's about ready to fall off. Paul says, sorry, internet dropped. What did I miss? Paul, you missed, yeah. Welcome back. Hair Dude says, oh, the irony, to Paul. Mike says, the first computer at home was an Altair 8800 with a North Star Basic. Paul says, yep, IT guys get IT issues also. Darn it. Corey says, who still remembers the phone parties? Oh, like the party? Are you talking? I'm not sure where you're going with this, but are you talking about party lines on the phone, like back in the day lines? Or are you talking about something different? I'm not sure. Jim says, internet. You and I just mailed letters. Yeah, we used to. We used to play like chess through the mail. Remember that? Or was it checkers? I think it was chess. Something. I don't know. Kenny's here. Kenny says, good morning. First time here. Good morning, Kenny. Welcome. Welcome to Homebuilt Workshop and Wednesday Live. I'm glad you stopped in. Yeah, this is just a live hangout every week we do, about an hour or so. We end up talking about shop projects and what you're working on, what I'm working on, and we try to brainstorm ideas and help each other out, and it's just a fun time, and love to have you join, and welcome. So if you got questions, comments, don't hold back, throw them up there, and we'll do our best to help you out or chat about whatever you're working on. Is never for the most part, there's never a topic. It's just in general, we're hanging out and talking about stuff. So don't feel like just because we get on a tangent, which usually seems like what happens, something comes up and we end up chatting about that for a while. Doesn't matter. If we're talking about something and you got a question about something else, throw it up there. It's no big deal. It's all good. We're all just here hanging out. I'm enjoying a coffee with you guys. You're enjoying whatever it is, but welcome. Cheers. Heritage says, I remember LAN parties. I never did those either. Paul said, my first home computer was an Amiga 500. It used to degauss my TV when the monitor would come on. Oh, wow. Mike says, we call them party lines. Now, I need to know your specific ring. Yes. I did not have a party line growing up, but my mom did. My parents did. Anyway, my mom would tell me about the party lines, and you had to know the ring, and you could be on the phone, and the nosy neighbor would be picking up, listening to your conversation, and Dastardly Dave says, I started with a 300 baud external modem. Kenny says, thanks. Yeah, right on, Kenny. You're welcome. Jim said, yes, chess and checkers. Yep. Kenny, cool. Kenny says, we were too long and too shorts. My family's, again, I didn't get to experience the party line myself. My family's was two shorts and a long. And funny little tidbit. Anytime I don't imagine they still do it, but anytime we would drive past a family member's house that had that ring, that's always how we would honk the horn. The same pattern. It's basically, that was your honk to the family. Andy says, I remember party lines and outhouses. The good old days, right? Corey says, what I mean is the phone line parties, where you have to have the operator connect you to the right party line. That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure if it was a computer thing too. But yeah, I'm with you. We're on the same page. Heritage says, with the 57, give the grill a gentle push towards the body. You may hear it click back into place. Be gentle, because the 57 can be fragile at the capsule end. I will check it out. I'll do a little more experimenting. I might have to unscrew that, maybe that little metal section after that. I might have to pull that off, and maybe I'll look in there and see if anything's goofy. I don't know. Will says, will you ever use anything sparkly in a grain filler using Aquaco? I mean, I can't say no. If that I will never use it, but I guess it depends on. guess it depends on really what I'm going for. I don't think I'm going to have to do on this guitar that I'm working on. I don't think I'm going to need to do much grain filling. Probably a little bit around like the binding and stuff. But will I ever on any build? Maybe if I feel, if I want some sparkle, right? There's no reason you can't, add some stuff in there. Just it just depends. Um, at this moment, I have not used anything sparkly, just because I don't know. I'm not really like a sparkly. I'm not sparkly. But yeah, you totally could. You could mix, especially with aqua coat. It's water based. You could mix water based dye in there and dye the pores if you so desired. You could put, yeah. You could do just about anything. I can't say that I won't ever do it myself. I've not really added anything to my grain filler. I had to reread the comment, make sure I was understanding. I guess to answer your question, now that I'm reading it again, you're asking if I've ever done it. No, I have not. But I honestly I don't see why you couldn't. The only thing you'd have to be careful of, maybe, is I'm trying to look and see if I have any. I don't. The only thing I have really is like some epoxy type. Well, it's just a pigment, right? But you could mix. I'm sure you could mix some of this like pigment, different colors in there if you wanted to dye the pores. I don't see why you couldn't do that. But I would just make sure that if you want to try it, test it on scrap, a piece of the same material. Just make sure whatever you're using is small enough that it actually goes into the pores. You know what I mean? So like if you mix, I've seen some people use some bigger sparkly stuff, and I think if the sparkly stuff is too big, when you go to fill the pores, the sparkles aren't going to go down into those pores. So I feel like you're going to end up sanding a lot of that off. Whereas if you have something, super fine, where it can actually go into the pores, I think you'd have a lot better results. And that's about the only thing I can think of off the top of my head that, you really need to pay attention to. Is, like I said, just make sure it's small enough that whatever you're trying to do, it'll actually go into the pores. But yeah, test it on scrap. I'm sure that would be a cool, actually, that'd be a pretty cool way to kind of customize something. Especially if you're using a wood that's really porous, mahogany, something else with larger pores. Yeah, if you put in something super contrasting and sparkly, that'd be kind of cool. Like a super fine, I don't know, maybe a mica powder or something like that it'd be pretty neat. Robert says, well, I'm back. My system froze up and restarting my browser did not work, so I had to do a full reboot. And I had a Windows update waiting, so I had to do that as well. That's a drag. That happens to me from time to time. Seems like about every time I need to fire up the laptop for something, there's always an update. Mainly because I don't leave it on all the time, and so it doesn't keep up on all the updates. But so every time I turn it on, I got to wait for it. It's got to update the graphics driver, and then it's got to update Windows, and it's got to restart once or twice, and then 20 minutes later, it's finally done, and I can actually use it. And Will sent the super chat. Will, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Right on, Will. Round of applause. I need a little sound effects button. Thank you, Will. Seriously, I appreciate that. Right on. That's awesome. Right on. Will. Aha. Harry Dude says, there's a small nut inside the main body when you split it. That may be loose. Don't let the capsule turn too much as you may break the tiny wires from the capsule. Right on. I will use caution. But I got to tear into it and figure out why that thing's all rattly. In fact, it's been a long time since I've used this thing. It was packed away, and I've been digging some stuff out recently. it had tape wrapped around it. You know, the old tape to keep it from rattling trick. Corey says, is that powder pigment from dip from the car powder paint? These that I have here, these are, this is just, it's like epoxy pigment. This one in particular is from Black Diamond, not sponsored or anything. But these I was using with some different epoxy to do colored epoxy and stuff like that. This is like a sample pack. It had a whole bunch of different colors and stuff in there. But yeah, it's super fine. I'm gonna get it on me and then I'll have it on me all day. Well, not really, but see if I can do this. It's just super fine. Kind of a, I think it is a mica powder of some sort. But yeah, I think something like this would work really good in like trying to color pore filler, grain filler. It works really good in epoxy and all that kind of stuff. It's just really fine, tons of different colors. But you know what? You bring up a good point. I almost think you might be able to use like powder coat. You know, the powder. I wonder how that would work. I've never tried it, but it sounds like an interesting experiment. Paul says, glad I don't have to worry about Windows updates. Friends, don't let friends use Microsoft. Sorry, Paul. I'm going to let you down. Everything I have is Microsoft for the most part, except Android phone and I guess an iPad. But I've explained before the only reason I have an iPad. It's the only Apple device I'll probably ever have. Not because I hate it or anything. I actually kind of like it. Kind of like the iPad, but. Robert says, I have an ash telly body that I used some ebony powder grain filler and did the full body, and it looks kind of neat. After sanding, it looks almost like a tiger stripe coloring. Oh yeah, I could see that. Oh yeah, ash, because ash has that real deep grain lines. Fill it with a colored. Yeah, I could see that. That would be kind of cool. And there's Sam. Sam's here. Sam says hello. Good morning, Sam. Well, afternoon. Good afternoon, Sam. Sorry, Paul. Sorry, Paul. I was trying to take a quick sip there while I was reading your comment. Paul says, I was working on a body last night and bumped my head. I saw glittery things in different colors when that happened also. That's how you know you hit your head hard. I hit my head quite a lot. And when you hit it to where everything kind of blacks for a second and then you get a bright light and glittery colors and yeah, that's the worst. Oh, that's the worst. I'm glad you're okay. Sam, I'm guessing you didn't get the notifications. Sam says, YouTube is handy as a ship made of toilet paper. That sounds like a disaster waiting to happen. Sam, I'm glad you're here. And for those of you that are here, guys, if you haven't already, do me a huge favor, hit that thumbs up button. Show the tubes that, this is like the cool hangout. I'd appreciate it. Corey says, that's a diamond powder pigment. We use that in soft plastic bait making to color plastisol. It does work good for that too. I can imagine it works good for just about anything. It's, anything that you're trying to tint. It's a super fine powder. I found even that you got to be a little bit careful when I'm working with it. I try not to. I don't want to stir up the dust because that stuff will go up into the air. I probably should wear a respirator of some sort. But yeah, I mean it's very, very fine, and it's worked good. Oh, maybe I should do fret markers with this. Let's see what colors. What do we have? What do we have here? Let's just look. Some of these are about gone. I got gold, we got purple, we got pearl white. It says red, but I've used this before, and the red comes out looking like pink. Blue, silver pearl, green, and black. I don't know. I'm debating on that. Also, I want to throw it out to you guys and see what you guys think. I know it's kind of hard to tell on this build. Make sure I don't have purple powder on me. It's kind of hard to tell yet because I'm not that far. I don't have some more of this done. I'm trying to decide, right? So I'm not going to dye this or anything. I'm going to do, just kind of an amber, a little bit of an amber sanding sealer and clear. So I would use your imagination here, and how the maple's going to take on a little bit of an amber color. The elm's going to darken a little bit, kind of a brown. Trying to decide gold or silver hardware. I could do gold or silver frets, gold or silver tuners. Haven't decided yet. What do you guys think? You guys have any opinions? I don't need to decide right at this moment, but I was thinking about it the other day, and I thought, I want to ask you guys. Throw it out to you. What do you think? Gold or silver? Jim says powder coated bullets. Yeah, you were telling me about that. That sounds interesting. Mike says thumbs. I have 2 thumbs. They're even opposable. Sam says, once the guitar is complete, is it a good idea to expose the G string to everyone on YouTube? Probably not, Sam. Andy says, silver hardware. Okay, there's a vote for silver. Harry Dude says, stainless steel frets, gold hardware. The only hardware that I'm going to be installing is tuners. Right? So if I do gold tuners, silver fret wire, I don't know. If it was me, I would go with silver. Just because, I don't know, I'm not a gold hardware playing kind of guy. I don't know why. I think it looks right when the whole scheme is right. And that's what I'm trying to decide. I could see it probably looking pretty good. Gold on here. But I like silver too. I also like black. If I could get black fret wire, that'd be kind of cool. So let's see. We got Andy votes for silver. Harry Dude says stainless frets and gold hardware. Mike says bridge tuners colors. Bridge is going to be wood. The bridge is going to be rosewood. The neck and body are maple. So imagine maple with a light amber finish on it. How can I not have something with maple out here now? I don't know. So anyway, Mike, the bridge is going to be wood. Tuners, that's what I'm trying to figure out. We have a maple neck. Elm, this is going to get a brown, kind of a light brown. I don't have a piece of that here with finish either. Seriously? Wait. Hang on, guys. Give me a second. I do have. It's not a great example. As I throw stuff on the floor here. Hold on. It's all dirty. If I can take this off. Remember the little laptop stand thing I made? Oh, this is a terrible example. It's all dusty. I need a rag. So this is elm. This is what the head plate is going to roughly look like. This color. It's kind of hard to tell because I know this iPad kind of washes the color. There, that's a little better. Not quite a walnut dark, but what would you call that? A burnt toast dark? that's what the head plate's going to be. Yeah, get in there. That's what this is going to look like, as well as this. We got maple surround here. I don't know. Trying to just iron out some of these decisions because I'm going to have to get some tuners ordered and stuff pretty quick. So Robert says, I have some of those small die packets that came in a small epoxy kit I bought. I think gold will look real nice with the current build. Della says, that question makes headaches. Yes, my friend. Yes, it does. And Mike says silver as well, especially on maple. What color is the fretboard? The fretboard is going to be, it's over there. It's over there. It's going to be rosewood, Bolivian rosewood. Do I have a scrap of it? I don't have a scrap of it here. It's going to be kind of a light, not light brown, like kind of a darkish brown with some sapwood streaks in there. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. I can't wait to put that fretboard together. Paul. Andy says silver pops and gold hides. It's an interesting thought. I'm probably going to go with silver, unless I get like a very convincing vote for gold. I mean, I kind of like the bling of gold, but I'm not a bling-y person. Let's see. Harry Dude says gold hardware, brass knot, brass bridge pins. Ooh, hadn't thought about brass. That would be all kinds of bling. That would be kind of cool, actually. Gold, brass, gold, brass. Ooh, that's a thought. Dallas says maple and gold would be a great pair. I mean, I don't think it would look bad. I really don't. I don't think either way is going to look bad. I just don't know which way I want to go. Sam says with the cost of power these days, a portable power station would be an idea. True, but you still got to fill that somehow. Unless you do like solar setup or something. Corey says, where'd you get that diamond powder pigment? This came from, I think I ordered this right from Black Diamond. I think maybe I found this on Amazon. They have a shop on there where they sell their stuff. Pretty sure that's where I got this. This was a sample pack. It came with, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe 10. I think I've used 1 or 2 completely up. But yeah, I ordered this right from them. I do remember that. I've had these for, I don't know, a couple years now. But yeah, I just ordered it right from Black Diamond. I'm pretty sure it was on Amazon though. Jimmer says, ask Yukon Sam. And I was thinking silver and gold. Yes, silver and gold. Robert says, what color are the inlays going to be? I'm pondering that as well. I'm considering the last several necks that I've made. I've used that brass tube and seashell inlay, which I really like. I really like that look. I might do the same thing again here, just because I'm like I said, I'm really digging that. You guys are probably getting tired of seeing me do that though, but I really like the way that looks. So I might do that. Sam says glow in the dark pigment. It's available too. Yes, I have some right here. It's actually almost gone. Let's see. I think this is a blue. Let's just light this up here. Yeah, that's a blue glow in the dark. It doesn't light up enough to be able to tell, but so yeah, Robert, I'm not 100% sure yet on the inlays. Mike says, do silver, don't take away from the head plate colors. I like your thinking. Dallas says, maybe you could make maple knob for the tuners. Ooh, That would be kind of nice. I know you can buy tuner knobs. You're giving me some ideas. Good call on that. Corey says, put silver and gold together, alternate the colors on the neck. Oh, that'd be interesting. Silver, gold, silver, gold. And then I could alternate the tuners, a silver, a gold, a silver, a gold, a silver, a gold. And Mike says, okay, silver it is for me. Della says, I imagined maple fretboard with gold frets, but rosewood makes it more difficult. Yeah. I'm leaning towards silver, honestly. Either way, it's not going to kill the thing. I'm just, it's one of those things where you actually, again, kind of like choosing the wood type, right? You've got a bazillion options. You don't have quite as many options for hardware, but still, the hardware is, kind of one of the last final big choices, I think, and it's kind of one that I want to get right. I don't think either one's going to look bad. Yeah, maple fretboard looks good with silver, and I've seen it both. I've seen it with gold too, and it looks good. Mike says, gotta go. Good luck on that silver decision. Right on, Mike. I think I've got my mind made up. I'm not 100% sure yet, though. Have a good day, Mike. Hopefully we'll catch you next week. Robert says, Total Boat Epoxy sells those die packets as well. I think Total Boat sells Black Diamond, which is this brand. I could be wrong on that. It's been a while since I've been on their site, but I think so. Get off of your fly. Dang flies. Oh, yeah, Sam says glow in the dark. Will says, is that sparkly and small enough? I believe that this stuff is small enough. Let me show you. Let me see if I can somehow demonstrate roughly. Let's take a look at maybe the silver. I'm not 100% sure on the sparkly. Let's see here. Let's just play around. I'm going to get a little bit of this on me. Oh, that's not a little bit. Let's see if I can get the light where it shows it. Where do we need to be? I mean, that's... It's not really sparkly, but it's shiny. Wow, and I'm covered in it now. I look like... You know what it reminds me of? Jimmer, I'm sure you know this. You guys ever use that silver anti-seize stuff that, you put on bolts and stuff to keep it from seizing up? Like, if you even look at that bottle, you end up looking like this for a week. If you just think about using this Never Seize, and you don't even somehow open it, this is what you look like. I mean, it's shiny. I don't know if it's sparkly. It's more shiny. It might be too fine to be sparkly, honestly. Great. I'm going to be all silver. Oh, yeah, look. Now I've done it. I'm going to walk inside and Haley's going to be like, were you using Never Seize? Because she knows now too. Because she's gotten it on her, just helping me on stuff. Even on projects that I haven't used the Never Seize. Harry Dude says brass powder neck dot inlays. Brass powder would be cool. Yeah. I thought about maybe even trying, I might experiment with some of this. Putting the brass tube in there, filling it with this, and seeing how that works. I'm going to have to do some experiments. Robert says brass tube and maybe some crushed turquoise. Ooh, that might be kind of cool too. Sam says putting tuna in the guitar would be smelly. Yes, yes it would. Harry Dude says, I'm slowly fixing up an acoustic with a maple veneer on the headstock. I went with black tuners with chrome buttons because I replaced customers' tuners with chrome bodies with black buttons. Yeah, I never thought about combining different tuner knobs. Sam says, thank you, awesome legend, for today's fantastic stream. Well, thank you, Sam. Thank you for tuning in and being a part of it. Corey says, it's always best to think outside the box when you're building anything. Yes, you're absolutely correct. You know, if you just stick with the same old, sometimes you get the same old, Jimmer says, I walked away and came back and just got powder all over. Well, I was trying to see how sparkly some of this pigment would be. And, well, apparently you weren't here when I said it. But it's like the bottle of Never Seas, apparently. You even think about using the Never Seas in your silver for a week. I know you know what I'm talking about. And that's what this was. Like, I touched it to get a little bit on me, and now I'm covered in it. R. Wagner says, silver touch. Robert says, looks almost like the silver rub and buff on your fingers. You know, I forgot about that rub and buff. But yes, it is kind of like that. Sam says, if you got a QR code for your channel, I've made some. I've got them, but I don't have it handy. I should put it up here somewhere, like on the wall. But I do have one that I've made for some like display items. But I don't have one out here or anything. And Jimmer says, Tin Man Syndrome. Yes. That's exactly it. I don't even have my can of Never Seas where I can see it, because if I see it, I'll get it on me. I don't know how that works, but it does. If you ever use Never Seas, you know what I'm talking about. Cool. Right on. Well, guys, I think I got to wrap this up. I gotta grab the kiddo, and we got a bridge to get to working on. Some videos to make before it gets cold and nastier tomorrow. So yeah, I'm gonna continue plugging away on this. Stay tuned for the video on this weekend, and then the following week the plan is to be the video where Haley and I are working on some things. We're making progress on this, and we're making some other progress on some other stuff too. So anyway, guys, thank you for tuning in today. I really appreciate it. Thanks for brainstorming with me and hanging out and having a great time. At least I had a great time, like I always do. Robert says, stream froze up on me again. Time to restart the browser. Darn it, Robert. Sorry. Sam says, be safe. Heritage says, send you some photos of a dead 57. May help. Right on. Thank you. I will look into that. Sam said, don't forget to like. Thumbs up. Dallas says, stay healthy and safe. I should go to the neck with my poor hand again. Just keep at it, Dallas. Slow and steady, and you will get it. Because I'm going to be there very shortly, adjusting the angle of mine. And I don't have any fancy method either. It's just a little sandpaper at a time. You can do it. Jimmer says, thanks for the call. At least I remembered today. All right. Awesome, guys. Again, thank you for tuning in today. Hope you guys have an awesome rest of your week. Get on your shops. Make some cool things. I want to hear what you're all working on next week. Guys, stay safe. Stay well. R. Wagner says, thanks. You're welcome. Thanks to all of you for tuning in. And, yeah, appreciate you guys. I wouldn't be here if it weren't for you guys. So, awesome. You guys have an awesome week. I'm going to go get to work. We'll talk to you later and see you next time. Let's see if I can hit this button. Later, guys. Oh, look, it didn't work. Good grief. Are you sure? Yes, I'm trying. Later, guys.